Yo, what's good people? The Rank 3 OKOYE showcase is finally here. We're mainly going to be covering some Battlegrounds fights, but there's some story content stuff mixed in there as well. You can see here my OKOYE is unduped, but I suddenly remembered after I pulled her, damn, I have a 7-star skill awakening gem. Gave that straight to her. She doesn't need to be duped. She still has all of her damage. Well, not all of her damage, but she still has really OP damage unduped. But the dupe really does help her. It does give her some nice benefits, and it lets her take Mystic champions in Battlegrounds safely. I'll explain that in detail a little later. But what her dupe does is it will grant her 3 ranks in the Deep Wounds Mastery just on its own without you having to have that unlocked or anything. On top of that, it will expand the Deep Wounds Mastery to include your shock debuffs and your instant shocks. So with just Sig level 1, you're getting a massive increase of shock damage with OKOYE. So as you can see here, OKOYE has a ton of buffs. If we were unduped, we would be feeding Mystic Dispersion like crazy. She can turn off Mystic Dispersion though, but what you need is you need Sig level 1, you need to be running 5 out of 5 deep wounds, and you need to be running 2 points in the Dexterity Mastery. That sounds like a lot, but I run 5 out of 5 deep wounds anyway, so the only real thing here is you need to put a extra point in the Dexterity Mastery because you normally only run 1 in there, and then she can turn off Mystic Dispersion. The reason this is the way it is because this line in her abilities, any mastery ranks OKOYE gains stacked with any ranks already invested. So the way this works is because OKOYE already has masteries in her base kit. If you exceed that mastery stack limit, so for example, Deep Wounds has a 5 out of 5 stack limit, but OKOYE can bypass that because she inherently has 3 points in Deep Wounds from her base abilities. So if you're running 5 out of 5 deep wounds with OKOYE, you actually have 8 points in deep wounds, but this isn't going to give you extra bleed damage. No, those extra 3 points are going to go to this ability. For each rank above max, the benefits of the opponent's masteries are decreased, like Structure, Coagulate, Serum Science, and most importantly, Mystic Dispersion, by 25% each for a point over max. But with Deep Wounds, you can only put 5 points in that, and OKOYE inherently has 3 points. So that's only 3 points above the max, which means you're decreasing these masteries by 75%, which is a lot, but OKOYE has so many buffs that even 25% of Mystic Dispersion is so much power. So that's why you need that extra rank in the Dexterity Mastery to gain that extra last 25%. And then you will completely shut off Mystic Dispersion. I really feel like they didn't need to make that ability so complicated. It took me 3 goddamn minutes to explain it. That's almost half the video. But you saw in the last matchup, we nuked a rank 4 7-star Photon. The only thing you need to know in that matchup is you want to Dex right at the start so you can instantly apply that Ensnare. The Ensnare reduces the opponent's ability accuracy, so Photon will gain less charges, which means she will go into pure light form slower. OKOYE cannot Dex Photon special attacks in pure light form anymore. She used to be able to, but that was a bug and Kabam took it away, which I really don't think they needed to do. But hey, she's still a pretty good Photon counter, especially for Battlegrounds. You saw there we nuked a rank 4 bullseye as well. We do not take much bleed damage off bullseye because OKOYE has access to so many debuffs. If you're running the Inequity Mastery, you're reducing your opponent's attack rating by so much, so those bleeds ain't going to be hitting too hard at all. And whenever you Dex with OKOYE, you're going to apply a Ensnare debuff, and this completely turns off Evade. She is 100% one of the best evade counters in the entire game. All you have to do is Dex and you apply that Ensnare debuff. That Ensnare also reduces your opponent's ability accuracy, which is really useful for champions like Photon. we're going to be doing a couple of tech defenders here, just so I can show you that OKOYE's damage is great even if your opponent is immune to one of your debuffs. Obviously, if they're immune to both of your debuffs, don't use her, she's going to be ass. But if they're only immune to one, she still has great damage, and she is a great sentinel counter. However, if your opponent isn't immune to any of your debuffs, she is one of the fastest champions in the entire game you can use. She's got great utility on top of that as well. She's not much of a defender. I do think she's a great champion. When I first pulled her, I was really excited because I was thinking she was a top 3 skill champion. I was thinking she was her, and she is really good, but I don't know if she's top 3 skill, man. She does have some drawbacks. My biggest problem with her is it is not safe to light intercept with her because her light attack animation is too long. So if your opponent doesn't play into your light intercept, you're just getting hit in the face and there's nothing you can do about it. But we got Ascade here, another tech defender just like Sentinel, but he's immune to shock instead of bleed. Whether they're immune to either one of those debuffs, OKOYE is a pretty similar speed, especially if she's duped, because those shocks are going to be increased by deep wounds as long as she's duped. By the way, she is not worth 6 stones, she only needs Sig level 1 and she's good to go. Let me explain her rotation. She's very simple to play. She's all about her combo meter. When you reach 50 hits in your combo meter, you're going to gain a vicious passive, and this will significantly increase the damage of your shocks and bleeds. So you really want to get those 50 hits. Each one of your medium attacks only do 1 hit in your combo meter, but each one of your light attacks gives you 3 hits. So a very fast way to build up your combo is just by spamming light attacks. Your medium attacks will grant you these precisions, and you need these precisions because you're only going to apply those shocks and bleeds each time you land a critical hit. It's basically just hit your opponent up to your special 2. Make sure you have your vicious passive before you throw your special 2. If that doesn't finish off your opponent, you land a heavy attack afterwards to refresh 10 of your bleeds whilst the vicious passive is active, and the vicious will increase all of the damage on that as well. Now we have this Black Panther. She's a great counter for him. The one thing you do need to keep in mind in this fight is that Black Panther will go unstoppable sometimes if you try to heavy attack him, so you probably don't want to do that. You still do plenty of damage without landing your heavy attack anyway. As you can see here, he was nearly dead. I don't even think I landed a heavy attack in this fight. I do right at the very end though. This fight would have been pretty much exactly the same time whether I landed that heavy attack or not. Still a 40-second nuke. Basically, any champion that isn't immune to shock or bleed is kind of like a instant win for OKOYE. It will be very hard to outspeed her in these matchups. Now we have a bullseye, but he's a rank 3 bullseye this time, and I just wanted to show this match because bullseye throws a SB1 here, so you can see that she really does not take much bleed damage off him. If I blocked that, I would probably be at around 94-93% health. You only need to bait out 1 special attack off bullseye, but then you can go in for the kill with a special 2 and look, plenty of overkill there, bro. He's easily finished off. I don't think OKOYE is a must-have for Battlegrounds. She's really good, but you can get by without her. You really do want her to be duped to be able to take those Mystic champions and make her faster. Would I rank her up unduped? I am not sure. For Battlegrounds specifically, if you need a bullseye counter and a Photon counter, 100% she can still be worth ranking up unduped. But if you're just looking for a very versatile, fast attacker, I would wait until you get her duped to rank her up. The dupe does make her a lot faster as well, so there's that. We're fighting this NC here just so I can show off the evade counter utility. All you have to do is dex to apply that ensnare debuff. It's not based on ability accuracy reduction or anything like that, so she can counter any evade as long as you can apply that debuff to your opponent. Now we're fighting Red Skull. The one thing you need to keep in mind in this fight is that Red Skull has a lot of critical resistance from his armors. You apply your shocks and bleed on your critical hits, so in this fight it's a bit harder to stack up your debuffs. It's more than doable though. She is still a great counter for Red Skull. OKOYE really rewards aggressive play. The more aggressive you are, the more debuffs you can stack on your opponent, and the more you can pause and refresh with your special 2 and heavy attack. So I do think it would have been nice if they gave her some sort of infuriate just to help her rotation out a bit more, but honestly she's a really good champion as it is. She definitely doesn't need it, but it would have been nice. Last Battlegrounds fight, we have this Deathless Thanos. She isn't normally going to be able to take Deathless Thanos because she has so many hits in her combo meter, and the way Deathless Thanos' unstoppable works is it's based on how many times you hit him. So OKOYE is just going to be making Thanos go unstoppable all the time normally. But in this Battlegrounds meta, we get the grit passive from punishing the opponent's special attacks, so we completely counter unstoppable, and when you counter that, OKOYE is a great option for Thanos, easily melts him. A lot of people have been worried about OKOYE getting nerfed, and I would say personally, don't be. Her damage is insane. She has really fast access to her damage as well, but she is in no way overpowered. She is not taking every champion in the game. She's not obliterating long form content. She's a very good champion, but I would say she's very balanced. She does have her drawbacks as well. We have a couple of story content fights here, though not much. If you want a part 2 where I mainly focus on story and long form content with OKOYE, let me know. I'm down to make that. We have a power shield fight here, 700-800k HP, somewhere in Act 9. I just thought this would be a fun fight because, as most of you know, any champion with damage over time on their special attacks go crazy on power shield. So you know we got to test OKOYE out here. And yeah man, as soon as we get to special 2, it's over for Squirrel Girl. That's gonna nuke her down. It just does so much damage. OKOYE's damage over time is so satisfying. There's not really any other champion in the game that stacks this much dot, this fast, this reliably, pretty much guaranteed. She's so good, she's so fun. Last fight of the video, we got OKOYE versus Labyrinth of Legends Red Hulk, just so you can see how fast she takes this. This is with no boost, no synergies, no nothing, just plain old OKOYE. It's not really possible to keep her bleeds and shocks paused, active, refreshed, whatever the entire match, so they do drop off in these longer fights. Honestly, I think OKOYE is best for shorter fights because she just gets access to that damage so fast, but she's definitely great in long fights as well. As you've seen here, once we get that vicious passive, we just want to keep landing heavy attacks to refresh those shocks and bleeds before that vicious falls off. When it falls off, we're going to lose our combo meter, so we will not be able to refresh those shocks and bleeds anymore. But yeah, she nukes this. That's going to be the end of the video though, fellas. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you drop a like, subscribe, all of that stuff. You know the deal. Thank you all for watching. See you all in the next video.